Every single day, someone is trying to influence your decisions, not with force, not with threats, but with psychology. The scary part, most people never realize it's happening. From your workplace to your friendships, from social media to everyday conversations, these mind games are so subtle that your brain often accepts them without question. Today, you'll discover 7 of the most common psychological manipulation tactics people use, and more importantly, how to recognize them before they influence your decisions. Because once you see the pattern, it's almost impossible to unsee it. Welcome to Quick Facts. 1. The small favor trap. Imagine a coworker buys you a coffee. A stranger offers you a free sample. A salesperson gives you an unexpected compliment. It seems harmless, but your brain often feels a subtle pressure to give something back. Psychologists call this the norm of reciprocity. Human societies have relied on returning favors for thousands of years because it helps people cooperate. But the same instinct can also be exploited. That's why free trials, unexpected gifts, or small acts of kindness sometimes make people feel obligated to say yes later. The trick isn't the coffee, it's the feeling that you now owe something. The next time someone does you a favor before asking for something, pause for a moment and ask yourself, if they hadn't done this for me, would I still make the same decision? If the answer is yes, then great. If not, you may be responding to the feeling of obligation rather than your own judgment. 2. Making you doubt yourself. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling completely confused? You clearly remember what happened, yet the other person insists it never did. They tell you, you're imagining things. You're too sensitive. That never happened. When this happens repeatedly, people can slowly begin to doubt their own memory and judgment. Manipulative individuals sometimes rely on this confusion because someone who questions themselves is easier to influence. Healthy relationships don't leave you constantly wondering if your own experiences are real. If you notice you're always the one apologizing, always feeling guilty, or always leaving conversations questioning yourself, don't ignore the pattern. One disagreement is normal. A repeated pattern deserves your attention. 3. Creating false urgency. Only 5 minutes left. Everyone else already signed up. This offer expires tonight. You've probably heard phrases like these countless times. Sometimes they're true, but sometimes they're carefully designed to rush your decision before you have time to think. When people feel pressure, the emotional part of the brain often reacts faster than the logical part. That's exactly why false urgency works so well. It pushes people to act before asking the questions they normally would. Whenever someone pressures you to decide immediately, ask yourself why they don't want you to think. A genuine opportunity usually remains valuable, even after you've taken a few moments to consider it. 4. The crowd is always right. Or is it? Imagine walking past 2 restaurants. One is completely empty. The other has a line stretching outside the door. Without knowing anything else, which one would you choose? Most people instinctively trust the busy restaurant. That's because our brains naturally look to other people for clues about what's safe, popular, or valuable. Psychologists call this social proof. Most of the time it's helpful, but manipulators know this too. That's why you'll hear phrases like, everyone agrees with me, nobody thinks the way you do, or millions of people are already doing this. Popularity can influence us, but popularity is not proof. Before following the crowd, ask yourself what actual evidence supports the claim. 5. Emotional buttons. Facts don't always change people's minds. Emotions do. Some people know exactly which emotional buttons to press. They use guilt, fear, shame, jealousy, or even sympathy to influence your choices. Instead of discussing the issue itself, they make you question the kind of person you are. If you really cared, you'd do this. A good friend wouldn't say no. Everyone else managed it. Suddenly, you're no longer thinking about the request. You're thinking about proving yourself. That's the real trap. Whenever you notice your emotions becoming overwhelmingly intense during a conversation, pause before responding. Emotional pressure often creates decisions you'll regret later. The truth is, these mind games aren't rare. They're part of everyday life. Some people use them intentionally, others don't even realize they're doing it. Which of these mind games have you experienced in your own life? Have you ever realized someone was trying to influence you only after the conversation was over? Share your experience in the comments.